Sometimes we tend to overcompensate for things. Sometimes when we're hungry, we order way more food than we're probably going to eat or that our body would allow. Sometimes very thirsty, you get more liquids than you need to eat. Sometimes when you're, trying to make up for a bad season, you overcompensate. And sometimes when you realize the season wasn't bad, but it was bad. And sometimes you go to the dreaded word of it was disappointing. And it feels like the Vikings are once again in that category of, man, we keep stubbing our toe into the wall. And everyone else around us seems to be getting better. And some even raising up trophies, and we're not. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing our NFL 2026 draft recap, and we're in the NFC North, and we are going to Minnesota to talk about the Purple Vikings, a franchise that record-wise wasn't bad, but you would think they would have been worse. And did they overcompensate? Let's talk about the Vikings. So, Vikings fans. I mean, I don't want to keep bringing up old memories, but Sam Darnold won a ring. Your quarterback situations went from let's see to I don't want to see. And you got Kyle Murray, who was following the same tracks as Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and, Daniel Jones. Quarterbacks that are probably really literally saying, it wasn't me, it was you. And there's a part of me where I feel like Kyle Murray seems to be a little more exciting than McCarthy. So, yeah, let's see. But you guys did do a whole revamp. But I feel like you made some mistakes that even I was like, but you need to replace that guy. And it starts at number 18. So with the 18th overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, Florida. Harrison Smith is gone. One of your better draft acquisitions players who played at a high level every chance you get. And we all thought you were going to more than likely get his replacement, this young man out of Oregon. He went to Chicago, which we'll talk about that when we talk about Chicago. But Caleb Banks, there is potential based on talent, and then there's a term of potential because injury is kind of covering up a little bit of the potentialness. And Caleb Banks is one of those players that you're hoping that his intangibles would surpass the injury that he recently has got himself into. And you're kind of hoping in a way that, you're thinking, well, when he's healthy, he'll be better. He'll be better. I'm trying to look over here and say, yeah, John F. Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, like I said, if the potential is there, he's a disruptor. He'll disrupt that offensive lineman for decades, or for at least a decade, if it's there. But when I hear scouts from Tampa, where a lot of fans wanted Caleb Banks, Florida Gators, Florida, come on, don't think too crazy about it. are now stepping back, going, ooh. And I remind me of the time when Anthony Richardson was drafted by the Colts, and people are like, ooh, ooh. I mean, it's not our team, but I don't think so. And ah, he seems like a potential pass rusher, but his technique is kind of he's raw, man. He is raw. And I'm hoping you Viking fans, thrive. But there's a part where I feel like maybe getting that safety from Oregon, what's it, Dylan, probably would have been a safer bet. It would have taken the absence. Right now you have Caleb. Where do you currently have Caleb projected to be? You're starting nose tackle. I don't know, man. I don't know. This feels like you're hoping. You're hoping for success with him. Because like I said, even people that needed defensive line help were like, not him. And you guys seem like you were like, yes, he's still there. Instead of like, oh, he's still there. Because there felt like there were other players you probably could have addressed. Oh, I mean, the number one need was safety. And you addressed defensive line. So I'm hoping you guys see something. Then we go to the second round. With the 51st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Jake Galladay, linebacker, Cincinnati. This was a player that I thought the Buccaneers were going to get. We got Trotter. Not a complete, loss there. But Jake Galladay, 6'4", 240 basically. I feel he has the look that you feel like for a 3-4 defense, he would be an edge. Like, you just feel like they will find a way, and especially with the Vikings defensive setup with Flores. I mean, Dallas Turner has shown great progress, and Jake Galladay is currently being viewed as the inside linebacker behind Eric Wilson. So, not a complete lock. I mean, Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner, your pass rush department's fine, but do not be surprised if Galladay gets utilized as a pass rusher, maybe in blitz package formation. But also, I'm looking at him, I'm thinking maybe they got him to compete with the tight ends in the division. Those interior guys. Maybe they got him to be. I'm looking at his tangibles. Plus, this was another guy who went to Central Arkansas because a Buccaneer, David Walker, did. And he thrived into Division One. So at every level he goes under, he's able to thrive and succeed in. So hopefully this is just another level of him thriving the next level. We'll see how quickly he gets involved with, but this player has so much upside that I'm really excited to see him play. Then we go to the third round. With the 82nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Dominic Orange, defensive tackle, Iowa State. So we're addressing defensive linemen again when your number one need was safety. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, you really feel the addressing the interior defensive lineman was the need. I mean, Van Winkle and Turner will be your rushers. I don't know, man. It felt like you really want to go defensive tackle? Really? Okay. Where they have Dominique Orange at currently? They have him literally the backup to Banks, the first round pick you guys got. I don't feel pretty confident with the Vikings selections right now because I feel like there was a bigger need at players he needed. I mean, honestly, I would probably say that Banks probably could have been there in the second round. I don't think people were taking a chance in the first round with him. I think he probably would have been there, and who knows, maybe he would have been there in the second round, right there at 51, maybe. But man, the bank reach out wasn't that high, and then you double down with another defensive tackle who was being the backup to your starter who's coming from an injury. I don't know, Vikings. Some of these picks just feel like, do you know what you're doing? Because you, you have too much talent on this team to waste time, you know? You have too much talent to waste time. Then we go to the third round still. In the 97th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle, Northwestern. Offensive tackle wasn't a need either. These were the top 5 needs according to ESPN they were addressing. Safety, center, wide receiver, guard, linebacker. Safeties because the Harrison thing ended, so I felt like it was not a desperate, but it was. You kind of need to address that absence in that position, and you didn't. And then you address the offensive tackle, which are you going to keep Caleb in that tackle, or are you going to move him to guard? Because sometimes offensive linemen do that. 6'8", 323, and I'm looking over here, and you guys have him as the backup left tackle to Christian Darrisaw. Building a lot of depth. Building a lot of depth for a team that feel like need to be winning now. Sure. You need to protect somebody at quarterback, whoever that it may be, from themselves. But even that, guys, I'm sorry, man. You guys got 9 picks, and it just feels like you're hitting not needs. You're hitting like, oh, what if he could be? What if he could be? But you're addressing that instead of addressing this. And then right after that, you get picked. You went from 97 into 98. So in the third round, with the 98th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Jacoby Thomas, safety, Miami, Florida. Cool. You finally addressed this. You addressed the number 1 need. And I'm looking where they have you. You have him behind Theo Jackson. He's the 13th best safety in his position. He's a 60 grade. He's a 142nd overall rank. You could have got a better safety. Now, I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on Theo Jackson to make up for the absence and then basically else, but I don't know, man. This Viking class feels more you got a lot of quantity than quality picks, because it felt like everyone knew you needed to get a star safety to keep the train moving forward, but you went so far against what you needed to a lot of positions that were clearly meant for. None of these players scream. Even Banks doesn't scream day 1 starter, mainly because of injury, and his technique is kind of lacking. But if you want to go that way, fine. But the rest of it, nothing here screams depth. Screams starter. And I kind of feel like you needed starters in this class. Now, we all know in the draft, their starters always come out in the later round. It happens every year, so not like this thing. But right now, on paper, with what we have, in the training camp footage that we can get here and there, we don't know. So, right now, all we can do is basically go on paper and be like, sure, if that's what you want. Speaking of want, then we go to the 5th round. With the 159th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Bax Brenneson, fullback, Michigan. Now, we all know fullbacks just glorified tight ends, but he is viewed as a tight end here, but in the depth chart, he's viewed as a fullback. So basically, long story short, he's a blocking tight end that will probably play in the backfield to be a lead blocker in situations. Cole Keith from the Buccaneers is a tight end, but he does what he does. And occasionally he catches some passes here and there, but he's really meant there to be an extra blocking back for lead blockers and maybe some checkdowns here and there, or maybe just pass protection pro. Whatever, that's what he's supposed to do. And be happy with that. But sure, another want, then a need. Sure, because I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like you guys are understanding your situation. The Bears, the Lions, and the Packers are more competitive. And there's no guarantee the quarterback situation you're addressing in the offseason is going to fix it. And this draft class feels kind of weak. Kind of weak. Let's go to still in the 5th round. With the 163rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Charles Demings, corner from Stephen F. Austin State. I always love schools with the long branded names out there. Small school level competition always been a factor there. But corner was not a need. It's not a need. I'm looking at Charles Dennings, and he's currently viewed as your 3rd string on your left cornerback side. I guess for depth, I guess for special teams, I guess you... Man, this draft class just feels weak. Vikings, I'm sorry. It just feels very weak with you guys. You're hoping that the Caleb Banks injury and his techniques that are not the best could develop something great. If not, you wasted the 1st round pick for somebody because the player that everyone thought you were going to draft actually got picked up by your division foe in Chicago. But sure, let's get another corner. Didn't really feel like you really needed a corner, but I guess for depth for the aging players you got there, sure, for the future. He'll probably make his mark on special teams, but sure, you guys know what you're doing. If not, you will definitely be told that in one way or another. Then we go to the 6th round. With the 198th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Damon Kelborn, running back, Wake Forest. Vikings running back department has, Jordan Mason, and Aaron Jones Sr. So, get a lot of veterans, been there for a while. You get some fresh legs in there, and Damon was probably one of the better running backs remaining in the class that was worth it. I mean, he was 6th in his position, so not bad. He's 5'10", so he's kind of a lightweight. We'll see what we can do as interchangeable with the tackles, but we'll see what future holds up for him right now. He'll probably get a lot of reps in preseason, so he'll make his mark that way, and we'll see where it goes. Small back with quick feet, always good in between the tackles. And then with the last pick, in the 7th round, with the 235th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings selected Gavin Gerhardt, center, Cincinnati. So according to ESPN.com, we don't have his intangibles. We don't know his height or weight. And he is currently viewed as the 3rd string center. Here we go. Here's his intangibles. 6'4", 310. Last time I seen a center from Cincinnati that was just a late round pick, became a star, and that's in Jason Kelce. Not gonna put that pressure on this young man, but I'm just saying, hey, there's some inspiration for you. Now, will they move him? He's currently the 3rd string center. Would they probably move him to guard? But the guard departments on both sides seem to be filled to the brim, according to ESPN depth chart mock. So we'll see what the future holds. We'll see what he does in preseason. We'll see what he does in the offseason. But right now, he could be one of those players that he might need to be intangible to get a roster spot, or else he might have to beat the practice squad. Yes, I know you were drafted, but that doesn't mean you will not still be removed from a 53-man roster spot and put to practice squad for more development. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Viking draft class. The player I am most excited about is Jake Galladay. One, because he's a Buccaneer fan, I thought he was going to come to us. He's 6'4", he's a little thinner for an inside linebacker. I feel like he's going to be hopefully used well for coveraging when it comes to the inside tight ends of the opponents he's going to be playing against. Pretty good ones right there. So to me, he's the one I'm most excited about because, well, the Buccaneer fans and the Buccaneer scout were kind of excited for him. So I'm kind of like, excited by association. So hopefully he does well. Grade for the Vikings, this draft class was weak. A lot of hopes, a lot of maybes, and a lot of just not really focusing on the desired need to make the team better and just hoping that the players around it will make it better. It's hard to give a bad grade. I mean, this team was... This team went... He was in 3rd place, so they weren't bad. Just, man... I don't want to say they're better. I'm sorry, but this draft class just made me feel like not yet. Are they good? Are they contenders? Are they better? Not yet. a lot of question marks here, a lot of hopes, and a lot of fingers crossed. And for a division that's filled with a lot of more confidence, you guys cannot go into this season with hopes and maybes. But yeah, that's the Vikings. Not yet. Not yet there. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe. But not yet. And that is the Minnesota Vikings. We are moving along in the NFC North, and we're going to go to next. We are going to Detroit to see what could the Lions have done this draft class to get back to what they were the past 2 years as NFC North dominant suppression masters. Blah, 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 blah. And hopefully, dude, because, not going to say it, but is Campbell kind of being forced to the plank a lot faster than most, even though he has been more successful? We'll see, but that'll be for next time. But until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.